outdoor kitchens, and fireplaces. Spring Sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
Come on, hit it. Do it. You know you want to.
This is Sports Talk with Phil Kornblum, Chris Bergen, and Pat Daniel. Sports Talk is heard across the state on radio affiliates of the Sports Talk Media Network and is streaming live on SportsTalkSC.com, as well as Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. The South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number to call in is 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now, here are Phil, Chris, and Pat with tonight's edition of Sports Talk.
All right, welcome in, everybody. Sports Talk here on the Sports Talk Media Network Thursday night edition. Weather kind of clearing up a little bit here in the Midlands area, though I still think we've got a little more rain coming through before we have a nice, dry Memorial Day weekend. We are in our Columbia studios as well as over in the PD with Chris Bergen and over in Charlotte where Matt Smith is on hand for the Clemson baseball game tonight. The Tigers taking on North Carolina, what will be the last game for Clemson in the ACC tournament. Might be the last game for Clemson in the of the season. And did I say North Carolina taking on Virginia Tech? Lost to North Carolina, taking on Virginia Tech tonight. So Smitty's on hand there. We'll get to him in just a moment. Chris is with us. Pat Daniels here in our studios. And our phone number, 888-898-2525, South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number here on Sports Talk. Love to hear from you tonight about the way the baseball seasons are winding up. We'll start turning our attention to other things with baseball wrapping up, probably for South Carolina, of course, possibly for Clemson. We'll still have some other teams with a chance to get into the postseason that we'll be keeping an eye on. The College of Charleston playing in the NCAA Men's Golf Championships beginning tomorrow. We'll keep an eye on that. But basically, it's all over for this academic year for sports in South Carolina on the collegiate scene and practically for the high schools as well, with just a few championships left to be determined in baseball and softball. So you know what that means, Chris? That means we turn our attention to the 2022 football season. And today we got kickoff times for South Carolina, Clemson, and Coastal Carolina. For the first few games, so let's tee them up and get after it.
Before I speak as to how embarrassed I am at SportsTalkSC.com, don't forget we also have Clemson softball tonight in Super Regionals.
Oh,
so
why do I always forget that?
There is still plenty to play for, and they take on Oklahoma State later on tonight. But I can't believe we're sitting here the final week of the conference tournaments, and the first 4 stories up on our website are all football stories.
Yeah.
I get it.
That's
we
the
love
world
football
we live
around
in.
here, but good grief. We get excited about kickoff times. Really? Why does it matter?
Well, people want to make plans. People want to make plans.
But you're going regardless.
Yeah, but I mean, you're planning weddings or you're planning outings, and you need to know the times. What's interesting about the South Carolina deal is the Gamecocks have back-to-back noon games. You're going to play a noon game in Arkansas, which will be 11 o'clock Arkansas time, and then turn around and play Georgia at noon. You know how hot it's going to be in Columbia?
Oh my God.
Mid-September, noon kickoff against Georgia. I'm not crazy about, for the home team, I never feel like noon kickoff is a good time because I never feel like the fans are into it at the outset. Sometimes I think the team is a little bit lackadaisical. Now, the visiting team, like when South Carolina goes to Arkansas and plays a nooner there, I mean, the visiting team, it's a business trip then. I mean, you fly in, you go to the hotel, you get up in the morning, eat breakfast, go play the football game, and go home. So I think for the visiting team, those noon kickoffs kind of work a little more in their favor.
I realize I travel with basketball more often than I do with football, but even on a basketball road trip, the earlier you can play, the better off it is on the road because you don't want your players just hanging around the hotel because all they're doing is sleeping or playing on their phone, one or the other. So the best thing to have happen for them when you're on the road, I think a 12 noon kickoff, as you pointed out, favors the road team considerably, unless it's Georgia taking on, Prairie View A&M, then it's not going to matter. But if the teams are fairly evenly matched, like South Carolina perhaps going to Arkansas, I think that's a huge advantage for the Gamecocks to have Arkansas try and wake up and go play an 11 o'clock game. So pregame meal will be around 7 a.m. local time. I think that works to Carolina's advantage big time in that ball game, and may not help against Georgia whenever you play as good as they are. But I think we're going to find out how good Georgia is, considering everybody they lost off last year's national championship team.
Well, look, we'll get a good look at Georgia in their opener in the Chick-fil-A kickoff. They take on Oregon. Oregon's supposed to be pretty good, so we'll get a good look at Georgia there. I do like that South Carolina gets a chance to open up at home against Georgia State, and that's a game that they should win, though you can't take Georgia State for granted. They are a Sun Belt team. They have gone to places like Tennessee and won.
Mm-hmm.
I think they have gone to did they go to Florida and win, or I'm confusing them with Georgia Southern?
I don't remember them beating Florida, but you referenced the Tennessee win. That's a good football team, and if they've got their quarterback from last year back, that's a Georgia State team that went to Conway and beat Coastal last year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, but South Carolina should be the better team. South Carolina should win that ball game, and that should give them a little bit of confidence, of course, and playing for the first time in a game setting, a true game setting with some of the newcomers, going to give you a chance to kind of get used to one another in that kind of setting. And then you go to Arkansas, and Arkansas is thinking big things for this coming season. That'll be a tough ball game out there. It's always tough to go to Arkansas. Mm-hmm. That place, states that support one school, all right, have such an advantage. I mean, everything in Arkansas is about the Razorbacks. How many states do we have like that around here? You got Arkansas, you got Louisiana.
That may be about it.
Who'd you say?
I said Louisiana.
Yeah.
Tennessee, if you factor in that 90% of the people up there are fans of the Vols as opposed to Vanderbilt and Memphis. But I think Louisiana and Arkansas may be the two most prominent examples.
Yeah, I mean, the state of Arkansas is all about the Razorbacks. So it's tough to go there as the visiting team. And, we'll see how the Gamecocks handle it when they get there. We'll be out there with them when they travel out there. So looking forward to that. That'll be an 11 o'clock kickoff local time out there. We'll give you more details on these early kickoffs announced today. ESPN, the various networks working with the conferences. They all had mass releases today. We got the ACC, the SEC, and the Sun Belt of interest to us around here for the FBS programs. But let's go to Charlotte, where Clemson is about to tee it up against Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech, the top seed in the tournament. Clemson, the 12th seed. This will be Virginia Tech's first game in the tournament, a tournament that started on Tuesday. Matt Smith is there. Smitty, great to have you with us. Welcome on board. And I guess the key question here that we've kicked around, how is Virginia Tech going to approach this game from a personnel standpoint and a pitching standpoint?
Well, now this does mean quite a bit to Virginia Tech because they can actually wrap up a spot in the semifinals if they win this game, because then they'll be assured of being at least 1-1. So this means a great deal to Virginia Tech, and obviously it means a ton to Clemson as well, because Monty Lee said their season is on the line. So he is of the belief that if he goes out there and wins this game, he thinks that that's going to bolster their resume and put it in a position to make an argument to the committee that they are good enough to be an NCAA tournament team. Now, something to keep an eye on is there are teams out there trying to steal bids, including in this tournament. Georgia Tech, not Georgia Tech. Pitt has already wrapped up a spot in the semis. Mm-hmm. Pitt, as an 11 seed, is going to the semifinals. Now, they still have a lot of wood to chop being an 11 seed, and they'll be there with three other teams and perhaps a couple of really good ones, really strong ones. As a matter of fact, Notre Dame's about to wrap up a trip to the semifinals, leading 5-1. But having said that, if some of these small one-bid leagues or some teams start sneaking in through the back door in some of these conference tournaments, that hurts Clemson's chances. So they need dominoes to fall in the right direction and to beat Virginia Tech and have the committee believe that this game means something.
Yeah. Now, let me make sure I'm understanding you, because you said that Virginia Tech wins this game and they're in the semifinals. If they're one, they still have to beat North Carolina. They have to beat them.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. You're right. Yeah, North Carolina would be 2-0. I'm sorry. You're right. Virginia Tech. So what they're going to do is they're going to I'm actually carrying about 3 games in my head. For some reason, I've decided to take the ACC tournament so seriously, more seriously than a couple of the teams that have been here. I'm sorry, you're right. Virginia Tech would have to go, would have to win tomorrow no matter what. That's the play-in game for the semifinals. Yeah, so what they're going to do is they're going to protect their arms in this ball game. I expect them to play hard because here's why. How many times has Virginia Tech won the ACC tournament? I believe it's 0, right? And they just won their first regular season championship. I think a team like that is not a traditional power, getting here to Charlotte and seeing those other names right there on the marquee, they have an opportunity to do some damage and then put their name in the record books. I think they're taking it very seriously. Now, they're not obviously not going to throw their number 1 pitcher or their number 2 pitcher in circumstances. They're not going to use anybody they need tomorrow, but I do think the team will be fired up and they will play hard, trying to carry momentum in tomorrow's game against North Carolina. So having said that, if Clemson wins, to me, it is a feather in their cap. This is a top 5 team in Virginia Tech in terms of RPI. It is a feather in their cap if Billy Barlow and company goes out there and handles their business tonight. Now, you said they're about to tee it up. We'll see. The rain was supposed to come in at 5:30 today in Charlotte. It has held off. It's actually really pretty right now, but everybody's got their heads down on their phones looking at the radar that's concerned about the game tonight, and they keep looking over to me to give me reports and saying, I'm thinking 7:45 we're going to get a downpour, and then we'll see how long it lasts and whether we can get the game completed tonight.
All right, do we have any word yet on the starting pitcher for Virginia Tech? I'm checking to see if they have posted anything about their starting pitcher tonight. Have you seen anything from them?
Yes, I do. If you'll give me one more minute on my phone.
Smitty, I've got it. It's Ryan Metz, a right-hander. I'm more interested, as to why Clemson is not starting Jeffrey Gilbert tonight and Billy Barlow instead. I think that's an interesting move by Monty Lee, isn't it?
It is, and I don't know what his thinking may be. You know, he may be approaching this game differently. He may go back to front in this ball game. I think he's pitching Barlow knowing he can have a quick hook tonight. If he doesn't have his stuff. One thing about what Mac Anglin did the other night was Mac Anglin gave Clemson some innings. They got through some innings. So Monty Lee utilized 6 pitchers in the loss and no pitcher more than an inning and a third. So he's got fresh arms going into this ball game. So I don't know what's going on with Jeffrey Gilbert, but I do know that right now he's got a full complement of arms. And I would expect Monty Lee to have a very quick hook if Barlow goes out there and doesn't have his good stuff.
Mm-hmm. All right, stand by, Smitty. We'll come back to you in just a little bit. Let's update what's happened in the tournaments elsewhere around the country, including the ACC where Smitty's located. He mentioned Notre Dame's about to close out Florida State. They lead 5-1 earlier today. Georgia Tech and Louisville played their final games of the tournament, and Tech was a 9-4 winner. And then you've got Clemson, Virginia Tech coming up, but weather could be an issue there. Meantime, at the SEC tournament in beautiful Hoover, Texas A&M laid the wood on Florida. They called it after 7, 10-run rule. Aggies 10, Gators nothing.
How about the run rule in postseason? Why can't we have it during the regular season?
Vanderbilt and Tennessee coming up, and then LSU and Kentucky. They'll get 3 games in. They are so far behind on their schedule. Yeah, they hope to get 3 games in. And then we've got the Big South tournament. I mean, all the tournaments are a mess with the weather. So in the Big South tournament today, how about Charleston Southern beating Campbell 7-6? I think Campbell was the number 1 seed, weren't they?
And speaking of that, Phil, it's the first time, I think I read this correctly, it's the first time since 2006 that the number 1 seed, fell in its opening game of the Big South Championship.
That's 2 wins for the Bucks. They beat High Point 14-3, and now they've beaten Campbell 7-6. Upstate is leading Gardner-Webb top of the 9th 4-2. So there you go. Charleston Southern moves on, and Upstate is about to do the same. Southern Conference tournament over in Greenville, and let's see, today we've had did they wash out everything today up at Greenville? I think they must have. I'm not seeing any scores being posted.
Well, that's no good.
I see scores from last night, like Samford 22-3 over Western. Of course, Greensboro came back to beat the Citadel 7-6, but then they're not showing any games for May 26th. They're showing games May 27th. Might want to double check and see if they've put out that they are pushing things back a day. And what's going on with the Sun Belt? I know you've been keeping a watch on that. They ever get rolling?
No, they're not going to play today. They actually have moved to starting tomorrow. They're going to single elimination because of the amount of rain that they have had.
Mm-hmm.
And Phil brings up an interesting question with regards to the SEC moving forward. And I get it, this year might be an anomaly, but they deal with weather almost every year. In Hoover and in Greenville and in Florida and all over the Southeast, we deal with weather at this time of year. What is the SEC going to do when you have 16 teams? I've got two options for them. I think you roll back, and if you want to stick with the traditional double elimination, you can only take the top 8 teams and just try and fit in a double elimination tournament. Otherwise, I think they ought to do what the Sun Belt is doing. Once the 2 schools from the Big 12 roll in, invite all 16 teams, set them up and play single elimination all the way through. And that would give you an opportunity. You could start on Tuesday with half of the games in the first round, and then Wednesday the other half. Then you could have the quarterfinals on Thursday, have a day off on Wednesday for weather, or on Friday for weather. And then Saturday you got the semis, and then Sunday you play the championship. If they're going to continue to try and stick to this format where you invite 12, 14, 16 teams, you can't try and play double elimination, I don't think.
Yeah, going to be a mess. Going to be a mess. We'll see what they come up with. All right, we'll go to a break here on Sports Talk. If you'd like to join us, phone number is 888-898-2525. Of course, that is the South Carolina Education Lottery. Lucky number into us here on Sports Talk. Love to hear from you. Since 2002, more than 2.1 million lottery-funded scholarships, such as Life, Hope, and Palmetto Fellows, have been awarded to South Carolina students. Learn more about the lottery's impact at sceducationlottery.com/education wins. Playing for fun is a win for education. Back in a moment.
I'm not like some whoop-de-doo executive chef. You know, I consider myself more of a baker than a chef. I like working with my hands. I like turning regular ingredients into like something spectacular.
The South Carolina Education Lottery has funded over 450,000 life scholarships in our state, giving countless students a chance to answer their calling, just like Aaron. Your passion is our purpose.
Parents ask, what's the best way to save for college? I'm State Treasurer Curtis Loftus, and my answer is always open a Future Scholar 529 college savings account. It's easy. You can get started online with any amount. It's flexible to adapt to your child's college dreams. And you can deduct 100% of your contributions from the South Carolina state tax return. So what are you waiting for? Go to futurescholar.com and see why it's the smart, easy way to save for college. Futurescholar.com.
Hey, thanks to listener Ronnie and to Chris for informing us that they had a built-in off day in the Southern Conference tournament.
Really smart.
Why? Why would you have a built-in off day, though?
For weather.
But, I mean, you don't know that weather is going to be a factor.
But if, and the SEC didn't know either.
But, I mean, are you just –
and how far behind is the SEC
in,
going to be?
Did they build it in for weather purposes or for teams that had made it to that point, give their pitching a rest?
Perhaps. Very possible.
I was not aware they had built in an off day for that. So that's why there's no SoCon games today. And you're telling me that Florida State's got a bit of a rally going against Notre Dame?
Yeah, they've got runners at the corners and 2 outs, trailing by 2. So don't stick a fork in the Seminoles quite yet.
Okay. We'll see what happens to get back to Smitty there in a moment. He can fill us in on anything that might be happening there. 888-898-2525, South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number. And shall we go to the phones while we have callers? Why not? 888-898-2525. We go to Andy in Columbia, batting leadoff tonight here on Sports Talk. He'll probably strike out and throw a hissy fit and then get tossed from the game. Andy, welcome in to Sports Talk. How are you?
Corn, Chris, Pat, I'm doing great, and I'm not going to go on my subject that I've been on lately, and I'm going to go in a different direction, so maybe you won't throw me out as quickly.
Okay.
First off, 12 o'clock kickoffs. I remember when I was at USC in college. That is known as kegs and eggs.
Kegs and eggs. Okay, right.
Okay.
They don't
so
go well together, but go ahead.
More power to the students for the 12 o'clock kickoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, the question that I really called about is this. With the start of the new semester and the move-in starting up now, basketball transfer portal-wise, is the portal door kind of closing on new kids coming in? Because don't we have about 3 open scholarships that we could still work? And I know they're kind of waiting on the kid from UTC who's been going around, and I think he's had a session with the Kings to, whatever they call it, to show off his talents.
Yeah.
And I know a couple other teams he has. I mean, I guess what I'm asking, Phil, is the transfer portal door closing, and does USC have it? I mean, I think we need some more big men. Do they have anybody that can possibly come in that can fill those 3 scholarships, or are we looking at what we're looking at for next year?
I've got him with 2 scholarships because I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Are you counting the young man?
No, then you take Boynton out. You take Boynton out. That's 6. But he believes he's going to get a scholarship once he gets there and shows that his wrist is healthy. But kick him out of it. That leaves 6. So then you got 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You could have 13. So I got him with 2 spots. I've got Carter, Benson, Minote, Gray, and Wright returning.
Okay. So I'm 1 off. So, I mean, are they going to be – is there people that they're looking at to fill those 2 open spots, or –
Well, you're always looking, that's for sure. Besides White, I can't think of any others that are prominent names right now. He would be one they'd love to get, of course, if he decides not to go the pro route. But he's also got some other schools he's been looking at heavily, too. It's not just a slam dunk that he's going to follow his former coach to South Carolina, apparently.
Right, I understand that. And like I said, this team, we talked about this before. Almost everybody they brought in are small, except for that 168 kid who, 6'8", 6'8" is a big guy, but he's still not a big guy for SEC play. They really, you got Gray, him, Minot, and that's about it on the inside, right?
Well, they've got
Benson from Blythewood.
Right. But Ridgeview, but he's got to, really improve. He hasn't been able to do much in 2 years.
I'm just
tell you what, they'll have a good-looking backcourt because Deba is a backcourt guy at 6'6". Zachary Davis is a backcourt guy at 6'8". Hayden Brown is 6'5", playing your 3 spot. Michi Johnson 6'2" at point. It's pretty good size there. But you're right, as far as a true big man. Now, this might be a 4-round-1 type of offense, and just spread the floor and let these guards dribble, drive, and see what they can create.
I just didn't know if there was, someone in transfer portal that they were kind of looking at. So
yeah. Besides White, I'm not aware of anybody else right now.
Okay. Well, that's about it that I have. Y'all have a great day.
All right. Good leadoff hit. Good leadoff hit. Thank you very much. We appreciate your phone call. 888-898-2525 is the phone number. South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number here on Sports Talk. Do we have Smitty still connected with us? Smitty, let's go back to you in Charlotte and see if anything changed of significance in that game you've been watching, Irish and Seminoles.
It did. Florida State loaded the bases in the 9th in those cool gold uniforms that they wear on the road, and came up with a bases-loaded single, trimming the Irish lead to 5-3. But the luck was with the Irish. They got a big catch down the left field line to close out the Noles, and so Notre Dame does wrap up a spot in the semifinals, and they're dragging the field now. And with the forecast the way it is, I really wish they would just send Clemson and Virginia Tech right onto the diamond now, but they're not going to. They have the clock up, and this game is scheduled to go about 20 minutes after 7 is when we should see Virginia Tech and Clemson take the field, right about the time the rain's expected.
All right. Well, hang in there, bro. We'll get back to you in a little bit and talk more about this Clemson matchup with Virginia Tech. And interesting, as you pointed out, Chris, no Jeffrey Gilbert on the mound tonight for the Tigers. We'll talk more about that.
Surprised about that.
Yeah, we'll talk more about that coming up after the break here on Sports Talk.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Could have some heavy showers overnight. That'll carry into tomorrow. The low will drop to only 71. Tomorrow, those heavy storms produce a lot of rain, some gusty winds, the high topping out at 82. Sun returns for Memorial Day weekend. Very nice weather. Sunshine all Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and warming temps from the mid-80s to about 90 for Monday. I'm Kevin Cohen with your On Point local weather.
When you're a military veteran with over 40,000 organizations trying to help you, it can be hard to find the right information. That's why AARP brings together valuable resources to help you navigate your options. AARP.org/veterans. With the free veteran employment and fraud prevention resources, caregiving tools, and access to discounts, AARP, on a mission to support veterans. Visit AARP.org/veterans today.
Balance of Nature's fruits and vegetables in a capsule, changing the world one life at a time.
I don't eat enough fruits and vegetables. I know I don't. I mean, I try, but how much can you really shove in your face during the day? So the best solution for me is Balance of Nature, which I really feel better with it. So, I mean, ever since I got the first bottle of it, I take my 3 of each, every day. I have a lot more energy than I had in a long time because of the Balance of Nature. I feel a lot more peppy, and I have a little more endurance. I feel a lot better. I do.
Get a wide variety of all your daily recommended servings of whole fruits and vegetables without having to leave your home. Right now, Balance of Nature is offering free shipping and 35% off on any new preferred order. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com and make sure to receive this special radio offer by using discount code BALANCE.
You know what? I get asked every now and then, Kev, when you say my guy, do you really have a my guy at Palmetto Exterminators? Well, I really do. Ron Byers is my guy. Do you realize I've been a customer of Palmetto Exterminators for 20 years this summer? That's over the course of 3 homes, longer than my kids have been around. I'm loyal to Palmetto Exterminators for several reasons. First, they do a phenomenal job with pest control for a very fair price. It's just not a concern around my home. They take care of everything from regular visits to termite inspection, mosquito care. This is a company that's been around for more than 60 years serving the Midlands. When they come around, they're clean, they're courteous, and they're on time. Look, it's not just me. When it comes to things like those pesky mosquitoes, Palmetto Exterminators voted Best of Columbia in Columbia Metropolitan for their mosquito control. I could have told you that before anyone even voted. What else can you possibly need from your pest control company? If you're looking for someone to help you, look no further than my guy, Ron Byers, Palmetto Exterminators. Online, it's palmettoexterminators.net or call them 254-5833, 254-5833.
Everyone knows that here at The Point, we are all about supporting local businesses. We are all about local, local, local. You cannot get more local than my friend Greg McCoy and his business, Simplified Mortgage Solutions. Fran Halloran here. If you're buying a home or you're looking to refinance your current home, you owe it to yourself to call Greg. He is the real deal. You can expect Greg to treat you like you are his only client. You can expect Greg to scour the market to find you the best rate available. You can expect Greg to charge you a fair price for his work and his service. Why would you deal with some national company headquartered in who knows where when you can do business with Greg? Need further persuasion? Okay, I didn't even mention the good Greg does in our community by supporting local charities like Blue Star Mothers and Camp Chemo. Come on, you need to call Greg. Online at simplifiedmortgagesc.com, or you can call Greg at 803-722-6044. That's 722-6044.
I'm already a big fan of Medicare Blueprint. Tim and his team saved me several $1,000s. They took a look at my health insurance. They helped me get the best possible plan. But not long ago, I reached out when we had a crisis. The big bad insurance company out of nowhere just canceled Mom's medicine for her multiple sclerosis. No warning, 30 years, same med, and just like that, gone. Here's the good news. Medicare Blueprint doesn't work for the insurance companies. They work for you. They're local. Imagine me trying to get this fixed, calling some national toll-free number. Outsourced operators never talk to the same person twice. Medicare Blueprint went to work, helped me get Mom's meds back, and how's this? Even less expensively than we were paying before. Incredible customer service and local. What a great formula. Oh, and it cost me nothing for their services. Nothing. Whether you're on Medicare or not, my mom is, I'm not. Medicare Blueprint helped both of us. Online, it's MedicareBlueprint.com or call them 708-7398. That's 708-7398.
And we're told by listener Ronnie, and thank you, listener Ronnie, or maybe your viewer Ronnie, because he's communicating to us through Facebook, that they did not in the Southern Conference build in a day off predetermined. They did it here during the tournament to make way for the weather that was coming in. So I guess they were expecting today to get rained out. I guess they had a lot of rain in the upstate today. We didn't have a ton of rain in Columbia today. I think maybe there was one thunderstorm that kind of went through.
Well, there's a tornado watch or warning. I'm not sure which for Lawrence County right now.
Okay.
So, and that weather is moving. And you heard Smitty a few minutes ago talk about let's get Clemson and Virginia Tech out there now, because about 8:15 it's going to start raining in Charlotte. And according to the radar, it's not going to stop anytime soon.
But you know what? They don't want to do that. Well, here's the thing, man. If you know the rain's coming,
why not start earlier?
Why not? TV. Just because you're going to burn a pitcher. You're going to burn both pitchers.
You wonder
depending
if that's
on how
the
long
reason.
you go.
And is that the reason, if you're Monty Lee, you look at the weather radar and hope you get an inning or two out of Billy Barlow, knowing that once the rains come, you can bring Jeffrey Gilbert back a little bit later.
Mm-hmm. That's
Monty
a good
may
thought.
actually, and that may be what Virginia Tech is doing, because Ryan Metz, I don't think, is the guy you would anticipate them starting tonight, even though they don't have to win tonight. As Smitty pointed out, they need to win tomorrow against North Carolina to get to the semis. But I'm wondering if both coaches know they're not going to get more than an inning or two in to start this game. So why burn somebody that you might want to use for 6-7 innings if possible?
Good point. Metz is a senior right-hander. This will be his third start on the season, his 15th appearance. He's 2-0, got a very nice ERA of 2.67. He's got one save. He has struck out 21, and he's worked 27 innings, giving up a couple of home runs. Teams are hitting .233 against him. So we'll see what happens there. I mean, the stud for Virginia Tech is a guy named Drew Hackenberg, a freshman, 6'2", 220 from Palmyra, Virginia. A freshman has come in, gone 10-1, started 13 games, 2.44 earned run average, and he has struck out 78 in 85 innings. Teams are hitting .240 against him. So he is probably the guy they're planning to use tomorrow night against North Carolina, I would imagine. He is the guy that's got by far the most wins on their rotation. Griffin Green is 7-2. Henry Weicker is 6-1 for Virginia Tech. So we'll see if this game gets underway. Smitty is there, and he'll let us know as we move along how things are progressing there in Charlotte. Phone number 888-898-2525. South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number. That game, by the way, now official start time will be 7:14 for Clemson and Virginia Tech. Not 7:13 and not 7:15. 7:14. Now, how do you determine we're going to start at 7:14? That's when we're doing it. 7:14.
Well, I can tell you how they do it here at this tournament. They're just, as soon as that game ends, there's a clock down the right center field, which is actually the pitch clock, and then it pops up at like 48 minutes. And then as soon as both teams have left the field and they get the equipment out there to start dragging for the next game, they start the countdown. So then whatever, and then of course you work backwards from there. You say, okay, well, our start is just like they put the dates on milk. They're just guessing. They're just telling you this one's going to start.
And we, you know what? We haven't talked about the CAA. Did they have games today? Were they able to get games in? got to check on the CAA, Charleston and that crowd. Have you seen anything?
I'm going to pull that up right now while you mentioned.
All right.
To see what we've got from the Colonial.
Okay. All right.
Let's see. Elon, yes, they are playing it. Elon, and they may not be playing long.
No.
Elon beat William and Mary earlier today, 6-3.
Well, I'm seeing some bad news right here off the top. Did Charleston go down? Charleston got beat
by Northeastern. Yeah, they did 6-5. Wow. That's not good for the Cougs.
Northeastern baseball team received a strong pitching outing from Cam Schlittler. Held off a late Charleston rally, 6-5 to advance. Schlittler, got to be careful how you say that name.
No doubt.
Schlittler tossed 7 innings of 2-run balls, struck out 9, scattered 4 hits. And this is, we pretty much determined this is a one-bid league. It's not a really good baseball league, but nonetheless, Charleston won it. Now their backs are to the wall here. They can't lose and expect to go to the NCAA tournament, which would help a team like Clemson.
No doubt.
That's on it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't. That's right, because they were a one-bid league, so it wouldn't matter. They're going to get one team and one team only. So
Pittsburgh losing would help big time. Somebody in the Sun Belt other than Texas State and Coastal winning the tournament would hurt them. When the Sun Belt elected to go to the single elimination, the first team I thought of was Clemson, because a team like South Alabama, they may burn through and win. All they'd have to do now is win 4 games, Friday, Saturday, actually only 3. Those are the teams you don't need winning. If you're looking towards Charleston, yeah, that'd be great. Northeastern, it doesn't matter in that league. But in the Sun Belt, where you've got 2 that are clearly going in Texas State and Coastal, you don't need an upset in that league, because that will steal a bid from a team like Clemson, who's sitting squarely on the bubble right now.
All right, so I think you mentioned Elon beat William and Mary 6-3, and Northeastern beat Charleston. Then you've got UNCW and Hofstra coming up. So I don't know. I had to pull up the bracket. I don't know who Charleston will face tomorrow I guess they'll face the let's see. Elon beat William and Mary. I guess they'll face William and Mary in the elimination. I guess.
Yeah, William and Mary's done. They've lost 2.
Okay, then they're going to face the loser of Wilmington Hofstra, perhaps.
They don't have the bracket further than I don't think than today up on their website. So I'm not sure if the college has to play. I'm not sure how they're doing it, because maybe somebody's supposed to play again tonight.
Hofstra, no. See, they played 2 games on Wednesday, which that got them into the double elimination. So, well, no, I guess it didn't, because William and Mary lost on Wednesday and then lost again today. So maybe that was double elimination from the get. Well, we'll have to just wait till they post, and we'll see what the plan. You got something on that, Smitty?
No, I'm just going to say, who can we speak to at the College of Charleston about you sitting in Columbia breaking down a bracket containing Hofstra and Northeastern? Can we get them back in a conference down here?
You know who we need to save us? Pat? We need Sam to come on board and explain to us what the heck happened to the Cougars today.
3 errors. They didn't play very good defense.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, they committed 3 errors today. So that was a huge factor, I think, in that game, especially when you have to come from behind and score 2 runs in the 8th and a run in the 9th to try and get back in the ball game. Yeah, you can't 3 errors. You just can't do that in tournament.
And the thing is, they lost 2 out of 3 to Towson to close out the regular season. Towson's not a very good team, but you shouldn't be doing that. If you're Charleston and you're the regular season champions, you got everything going your way. You don't want to lose your mojo the weekend before the tournament. It's hard to get it going again. And they lost 2 out of 3 the last regular season series, and now they've opened up their tournament with a loss, and their backs are to the wall. So, this is a team that looked like a lock for the NCAA tournament by just going and winning their conference tournament. So it will be very unfortunate for them if they fall in their conference tournament. But they're not out of it yet. They still have a shot. Is that Sam standing by? Well, we send out the beacon for Sam to call in, and he responds. Sam in Charleston, welcome in. How are you?
I am calling live from Charleston, South Carolina. How you doing?
We're doing fine, Sam. What happened to your Cougars today?
Okay, tell me what happened.
No. You're supposed to explain to us what happened. That's why we sent out the APB for you.
Well, I know we won or lost today, and I don't know what happened, but
That's
guys,
a pretty good
come on,
guess.
give me some.
You took the big L. You took the big L today. Most unfortunate. You took the big L.
So, I am really proud of the baseball team this year. I know it's been. I am very proud of this team because there's a former Bishop England player who used to play at Bishop England named Daniel Brooks, and I wanted to know how is he doing this year? What's coming next year's team? And because that's my number one question for you. And number two, I want to ask you about a few things, and I got some great news to tell you.
Continue.
Okay, thank you. I got some great news to share with you. Is that okay?
We love great news.
Awesome. This is on breaking news right now. If you know that, right?
Tell me.
Well, let's just say that I am now. Next year will be my 13th year with the basketball team.
All as a student?
Oh no, I'm sorry. My next year with the Cougars men's basketball team next year.
Mm-hmm.
This is my 13th year with them.
Right. But so you've been a student there for 13 years.
Oh no. I'm sorry. I used to be a student at the College of Charleston since get this, 7 years ago from today.
That's fantastic.
But here's another question to ask you to think about this week. I know I've been talking about the men's basketball team for the fall, and I want to know, are they going to have the block party when everybody gets back after summer? That's my issue. Is it safe to be out there because of COVID, or what do you guys think about the future of the team? But here's the thing: I spoke with Coach Pat Kelsey this past week. Can I tell you something?
Go ahead.
So I spoke with Coach Kelsey's team about this upcoming year. He also said that each team needs to win a national championship. Look at Townsend, great ball club. I mean, I know who the coach is, but his name is Gary Scary, I think. He's a great, phenomenal coach and stuff. I met him the first time when I was at the TV arena. And I got to tell you, I have cousins from the Townsend. But so the question I'm having is, what do you guys think about the future of the Cougars men's basketball team? Because I am still concerned about this upcoming year. And are they going to have a block party? Because I love parties.
Yeah, I bet you are a party animal down there in Charleston. Thank you, Sam. A little disappointed that you're not clued in on what happened to the baseball team today. So, again, Sam, the College of Charleston basketball team, I think they'll be better under Kelsey in year two. You know, year one transition year and getting used to everything and give them a chance to bring in some of players that fit his system. So I think they'll be good. I don't have the roster right in front of me or the schedule, but I would expect them to be competitive in the CAA this coming season.
Hard league. It's a really good mid-major league. He talked about Towson. That's a team that won 25 games last year and went to the NIT.
You think that's a better league, mid-major league than the Sun Belt?
No, not top to bottom, but, in terms of, gosh, there's so many good mid-major leagues, Phil. I don't know where you'd slot them in. It's a solid conference. I mean, it's better than, say, the Big South.
Mm-hmm.
But then you start looking at Ohio Valley and the Missouri Valley and some of those type leagues. I don't know where the Colonial would stack up. I do know they've got some really, really good basketball teams in there, including, of course, Towson, as I pointed out. That's a team that lost to Wake Forest in the NIT.
Mm-hmm. All right, thank you, Sam. We appreciate that. Before we hit the break, and we'll do recruiting after the break, I do want to go over these football game times announced today. FBS teams getting it's a public service. And FBS teams getting the game times for their early schedules. So Clemson will play Georgia Tech, of course, in the Dome on Monday night September the 5th, and that'll be an 8 o'clock kickoff. That'll be on ESPN. And then the Tigers will play their first home game against Furman. That'll be a 3:30 kickoff on the ACC network. And then September 10th, Louisiana Tech comes in, and that will be a 8 o'clock kickoff. 8 o'clock kickoff for Louisiana Tech at Clemson. And that will be on the ACC network. All right. And then South Carolina, the Gamecocks open up at home against Georgia State. And that will be a 7:30 kickoff in Columbia. And that will be on the SEC network. Then the Gamecocks head out to Arkansas. That will be a kickoff at noon Eastern time, 11 o'clock local time on ESPN. Then the Gamecocks are back at home to take on Georgia, and that will have a 12 o'clock kickoff local time in Columbia, and that will be on ESPN. So back-to-back ESPN appearances for the Gamecocks, and both at noon Eastern time. Then you've got the Coastal Carolina, and their first three game times announced today as well. And they'll open the season at home against Army September 3rd, 7 o'clock. Then we'll host Gardner-Webb September 10th at 6 o'clock. And then they'll wrap up a 3-game homestand to open the season against the Buffalo September 17th, and that will be a 1 o'clock game. All 3 games will be on ESPN+. That's a nice way to open the season with 3 home games.
Loving the fact that 2 of them are at night, too, because standing on that surf turf during the early portion of the season in the middle afternoon, not comfortable. So I'm thankful that Coastal's got a couple of night games. Not that, in South Carolina, of course, Phil, it doesn't cool off at night, but it does cool off somewhat when the sun disappears. So I'm kind of glad there are 2 home games that are night games to kick off the season. I've got a question, though, about Clemson's game against Georgia Tech. Assuming that it's a typical Chick-fil-A kickoff game, you would assume that you would sell tickets to both fan bases evenly, right? Because it's quote unquote a neutral site game. If that's the case, why in the world would Georgia Tech give up a home game?
I don't think this is a Chick-fil-A. Is this not one of Georgia Tech's predetermined home games in the Dome? Because they have done that. They have set certain home games for the Dome for greater ticket sales for them and everybody. Or is this part of
it's labeled as the Chick-fil-A kickoff game. Now, whether or not they just use that marketing and then Georgia Tech still gets the majority of fans.
No, if it's a Chick-fil-A game, I think it's got to be kind of split between the two, Smitty.
I think you're right, and I wish, I used to live in Atlanta. I wish I'd have done a little research. It may be one of those situations where Dabo Swinney picked up the phone and called Georgia Tech and said, yeah, you're giving up a home game. We're going to do this thing in the Dome. It may have been that he brought the hammer. I don't know. Sometimes there are compromises made that if you do this, then you will receive something in turn, kind of a return of some sort. But I think you're right. If it's a Chick-fil-A kickoff game, and it's a great one, it is a great one if that's what they're doing. But yeah, in that case, you were supposed to offer up Clemson half of those tickets, which they would find a way to get anyway.
Yeah.
According to ESPN, Georgia Tech only plays 5 true home games this year. They have 6 quote unquote home games total, but one of which is the opener against Clemson. So it's actually kind of interesting. They only play 5 true home games, and worth noting, is this a non-conference game? Because Clemson has 9, if you're including Notre Dame, they have 9 ACC or league games on their schedule. Or is Notre Dame the non-conference?
Notre Dame would be the non-conference game.
So that's one of the bonus games this year, I guess.
Yeah, Notre Dame is not a conference member. You had that 1 year because of COVID when they counted as a league member. Otherwise, it's still a non-league situation.
You know how you fix this problem, Phil, so there's no confusion? Get rid of neutral site football games.
You have a problem with that, don't you?
I hate them. I hate all neutral site games in athletics, college athletics. Supposed to be played on campus.
Let me go back here. This is sort of a combination of what we're talking about, because Georgia Tech, this was announced before the 2020 season, I guess, that Georgia Tech was going to play games in the Mercedes-Benz Dome, and they had a predetermined schedule, and this game against Clemson was a predetermined game on September 5th as one of those 5 games that Georgia Tech was going to play as a home game. So we got a little bit of a combination of both of these things. Georgia Tech was going to play a home game in 22 in the Dome and working with Chick-fil-A. They made it one of the Chick-fil-A kickoff games. So that kind of
There you go.
Kills a couple of birds there with the same boulder, I guess you could say. Yeah, they played Notre Dame there in 20. Played somebody there last year. Clemson was, at the time this story was written, that Clemson game was predetermined. They're going to play somebody there in 23, and they've got Notre Dame there in 24 on October 19th. That's already been determined. All right, we'll hit a break. Give you the recruiting report after this timeout here on Sports Talk.
Hey folks, it's Mike Morgan for Gibson Insurance. Former Gamecock player Bo Mobley and former coach Stuart Lake want you on their team for all your insurance needs. Now, cost-effective solutions is what they're all about for the now and for the long term. They're licensed with every insurance company in the state. They've got offices in Columbia, Greenville, and Sumter. But if you're listening right now, let me direct you to call Bo and Stu today at 803-605-0029. That's 803-605-0029. Let my good friends take great care of you.
Show your team pride wherever you go with Founders Federal Credit Union's collegiate debit cards. Get your University of South Carolina and Clemson University debit cards at any Founders office or by calling 1-800-845-1614. Plus, our debit cards are digital wallet ready, so you can pay however you please. Not a member? Visit relaxjoinfounders.com or one of our 37 convenient locations to see if you qualify for membership. Terms and conditions apply. Founders Federal Credit Union is federally insured by NCUA.
The recruiting report is brought to you here on Sports Talk by Seawells. Seawells, of course, very best in the catering business. They've been catering for folks all over the state for over 70 years, and they can handle whatever you've got that needs the best in catering, setup, delivery, and cleanup. They do it all. 803-771-7385, SeawellsCateringSC.com. And don't forget the daily luncheon buffet one more time this week, tomorrow from 11 till 2, and they'll pick it back up next week after the holiday. Safety, Ahmad Brown is 6'1", out of Cordele, Georgia. South Carolina, Clemson, both are on him heavily. Both have offered. He's got officials to both. Clemson on the 3rd, Gamecocks on the 24th. He's excited about a chance to go to college and play ball and get an education. As he says, get out of Cordele. And he's been talking to Clemson co-defensive coordinator Mickey Kahn quite a bit. And Kahn, loves his overall ability, thinks he can make an impact at both safety and corner. He is related to Tree Rollins, of course, who came from Cordele, Georgia. Rollins is the uncle of Brown's father. Okay, so he also likes the USC defensive backs coach Torian Gray, and getting the same pitch from the Gamecocks. He's big, he's athletic, he can play anywhere. And so he visited Clemson, Tennessee, Wake Forest this spring and was in Athens for the spring game at Georgia. Bulldogs have yet to offer. In addition to Clemson and USC, his list includes Arkansas, Auburn, Charlotte, Coastal, Florida, Georgia Tech, Kentucky, Louisville, Michigan State, Mississippi State, Nebraska, Ole Miss, and Purdue. Had 25 tackles, 3 picks last year. Also a receiver, 27 catches, 541 yards, and 6 touchdowns. Receiver Ronan Hannafin, 6'3", 205, Cambridge, Massachusetts. Goes to a school that's right across the street from Harvard. Huh.
Wow, really?
Yeah. He's got 4 officials in June. Clemson the 3rd, then Notre Dame, then Alabama, then Boston College. Tyler Grisham been recruiting him hard for Clemson. Reaches out about every day, he says. They're always talking on the phone or texting. They like him as a boundary receiver, maybe a slot receiver. And they also recruit him a little bit for safety, but I think receiver is primarily what they have in mind for him. Of course, he's been impressed with Clemson's production at wide receiver and the players they've put in the league. He is not going to close the door on others who've offered, like Virginia, Virginia Tech, Southern Cal, LSU, Oklahoma, Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan. This spring, he went to Alabama, Wisconsin, Notre Dame, Maryland, and Penn State. Safety Cameron Upshaw of Perry, Florida, cut his list to USC, Maryland, Arkansas, Florida State, and Nebraska. He's got an official USC June 10th. Tight end Olson Henry of Naples, Florida, has Clemson, USC in his top 7. Minnesota, Duke, Florida State, Alabama, and Oklahoma the others. Clemson offered safety Derek Williams of Louisiana, defensive tackle Caden McDonald of Sewanee, Georgia. USC offered defensive tackle Jamarian Harkless, Lexington, Kentucky. Mike Morgan coming up.
Way before we do what's supposed to happen here, thank you for pushing the button. I thank you. Programming thanks you. America thanks you.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, and fireplaces. Spring Sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
Breaking news this hour at townhall.com. I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. In Texas, authorities say the gunman who massacred 21 people at an elementary school was in the building for more than an hour before he was confronted and killed by law enforcement officers, and that time frame is stirring anger now and questions among many family members.
There was not an officer readily available armed.
That's the Texas Department of Public Safety's Victor Escalon discussing the police response to shots being heard from inside Robb Elementary School. Javier Cazares tells the AP police on the scene were too slow.
I mean, we heard the shots. You know, we heard, but they're just trying to go back. Let's do our job, but their job is to go in and save lives, not wait.
His daughter Jacqueline was among the 19 children killed.
God knows how long my little girl or the rest were like that.
Escalon says the response is being reviewed with the officers involved.
That's correspondent Ben Thomas. Secretary of State Blinken says China has become closer to Russia after it invaded Ukraine.
Even while Russia was clearly mobilizing to invade Ukraine, President Xi and President Putin declared that the friendship between their countries was, and I quote, without limits.
An appeals court has temporarily blocked the January 6th committee from getting RNC records. More from Bernie Bennett.
A federal appeals court on Tuesday temporarily blocked the House January 6th Select Committee from obtaining Republican National Committee records while the GOP challenges a subpoena for documents pertaining to its fundraising efforts in the weeks leading up to January 6, 2021. A three-judge panel from the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals granted the RNC a temporary administrative injunction prohibiting third-party vendor Salesforce from turning over the party's fundraising records to the Select Committee.
That is correspondent Bernie Bennett. On Wall Street, the Dow closed up by 516 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Relief Factor, pain relief that's natural, pain relief that works, and pain relief that attacks the source of the pain. That's the experience of tens of thousands of Americans who are taking Relief Factor right now. See their incredible video endorsements at relieffactor.com and then order your 3-week quick starter pack for just $19.95. That's less than $1 a day. Find out if it can work for you like it works for me by ordering your 3-week quick starter pack today. Relieffactor.com, relieffactor.com. Be the next success story.
Hi, Rhett Rasmussen of BestHotGrill.com. Step up your grilling game with our Solaire portable infrared grills. Our compact everywhere is a favorite of RVers and trailer pullers. Solaire infrared provides the quick sear for bar marks and texture needed to properly finish sous vide. Use a portable alongside your larger conventional grill to create an instant sear zone and more juicy and flavorful food. Learn more at BestHotGrill.com. Affordable, powerful, portable infrared grills at BestHotGrill.com.
To drive or not to drive on Memorial Day getaways.
With gas prices painfully high, AAA says about 39 million people plan to travel over the long weekend. Andrew Gross says 88% of them plan to drive.
We've never had a Memorial Day travel period where so many people are going to be going by car. At the same time, you have these high gas prices.
Dan Johnson in Pennsylvania has a family graduation to attend.
We really didn't have a choice, and we just toughed it up, and, whatever the gas price is, unfortunately, we have to pay for it.
Gross says the pandemic is part of the reason
people just want to get out and go.
Oil market researcher Jim Burkhardt at S&P Global expects no relief from high gas prices through the summer.
Especially if Americans drive in great numbers, which is what's expected to happen.
And there is little relief for flyers. Prices for airline tickets are up too. I'm Ed Donahue.
Breaking news and analysis at townhall.com.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Could have some heavy showers overnight. That'll carry into tomorrow. The low will drop to only 71. Tomorrow, those heavy storms produce a lot of rain, some gusty winds, the high topping out at 82. Sun returns for Memorial Day weekend. Very nice weather. Sunshine all Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and warming temps from the mid-80s to about 90 for Monday. I'm Kevin Cohen with your on-point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, and fireplaces. Spring Sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
Please press button now. No, number 1.
Welcome back to Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network. You can reach the guys with the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number, 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now back to Phil, Chris, and Pat with the second hour of Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network.
All right, back we are on Sports Talk, and Mike Morgan will be joining us here in just a moment. I want to go back out to Smitty in Charlotte to get find a little preview from him of this Clemson-Virginia Tech game, how the weather looks. First pitch is scheduled for about 9 minutes from now. Smitty, how are we looking as we get a little closer? Well, I think we've lost Smitty, or he's walked away from his microphone for a moment. We'll get back to him momentarily and see how things are looking there in Charlotte. Clemson and Virginia Tech get underway at 7:14, weather permitting, there in Charlotte, and see how long that one goes and if they can get it in. I don't know. Like you said, they got some heavy stuff heading that way, Chris.
Yes, they do. Weather radar does not look very good at all. As a matter of fact, they may get in an inning or two, and Smitty can probably speak better to this than I can as he's back with us from Charlotte now.
There he goes. Go ahead, Smitty.
Yeah, I am here. And, yeah, you can actually see it moving in, and you get that, that sense you get when the wind starts to whip and everything. Now, I have Scotch guarded all of the valuable Sports Talk radio equipment, but I believe I left both windows down in my truck. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes. But I really do believe, you know what, Chris, you made mention of this, and I just want to hit on it again quickly. I think you were right on the money when you said, why would Monty Lee start Billy Barlow in front of Jeffrey Gilbert? And then I looked at Virginia Tech's lineup, thought it might be a lefty-righty thing. Actually, Virginia Tech, some of their best hitters are left-handed, so Gilbert could be an advantage. I think it's because you don't want to burn Gilbert. If you only get a frame and a half in, and then you've used him, and then you have to come back late tonight, and now you've burned the best pitcher you have left. So I think he's going to have Barlow come out, and then he's got his full complement of bullpen arms, plus Jeffrey Gilbert in the chamber in case the rain wreaks havoc on this game.
I think that's smart. I really do. I think that's smart planning on Monty Lee's side of the coin, and I think Virginia Tech may be going that same route, Phil.
Yeah, I think you're right. Again, the key winning tonight would be great for them, be another feather in the cap. I mean, they're already a top 5 RPI team, but they have to beat North Carolina tomorrow night. That's the big one for them to get to the championship. So that's probably why they're doing what they're doing. Okay, I don't see anything here, Pat. If you're writing to me, what's up with Mike? Just tell me over the air. We're loosey goosey here. It's the holiday season. What we got?
Oh gosh.
Speaking of goose, you're gonna go see
Top Gun Maverick.
Top Gun. Yeah,
yes.
Top Gun.
Not this weekend, but I will go. I have not been to a movie theater in gosh knows how long, but I will go see. I'm looking forward to seeing that. I was a real big Top Gun fan when it originally came out. Maybe not as much as my wife is, because she enjoyed the volleyball scene on the beach as all women did, but I will certainly looking forward to seeing that at some point in time, but not this weekend.
All right, what's our story with Mike? Are we getting him? We're in the process of getting Mike Morgan on board with us here on Sports Talk to get his thoughts about baseball tournament action, or lack thereof in some cases at this point, and what's ahead as far as his schedule with the regionals and super regionals that he'll be on. In the meantime, while we do that, I had a couple of other recruiting notes I could drop in. So I mentioned the 2 players that Clemson offered, the one South Carolina offered. Also, South Carolina offered wide receiver Dadrian Zipperer, 6'1", 170 from Lakeland, Florida. His brother is the tight end at Florida. And USC also offered 2024 running back Jaden Scott, 5'10", 190 out of Stockbridge, Georgia. And Dutch Fork running back Jarvis Green was offered by Georgia Southern. Are we ready? We welcome in to Sports Talk once again, Mike Morgan. Morgan on the move. Brought to you by Gibson Insurance, former Gamecock players Bo Mobley and a former coach Stuart Lake want you on their team for all their insurance needs. Cost-effective solutions for now and long-term are what they offer. And they're licensed with every insurance company in South Carolina. So give Bo and Stu a call today at 803-605-0029. That's 803-605-0029, also known as 0029. Mike Morgan joining us here on Sports Talk. So, how about these tournaments? Don't you hate the weather?
I do, but it's nothing new. Something that goes on seemingly in Hoover every year. I had the ACC tournament in Charlotte last year. I don't think we had much of a delay at all. But I was thinking back to all the SEC tournament games I did, either at Carolina or back when I was doing them on television every year. And I remember one specifically. It was one of those days where games are delayed. We have the last game, so it starts late. It goes 12 innings and 4 hours and 50-something minutes. And the game ends. We're nearly 2 a.m. East Coast time, and it's just like, there's got to be a better way. I hate it. I saw one of the conferences, I believe it was either the Sun Belt or the SoCon. They had to scrap their double elimination format just to get them all in. So they're now going single elimination. That's just, it seems like there ought to be a better way to do it. I'm just not sure what the answer is.
Yeah. Now, Chris has been kicking that around too this week as we've seen this play out. I mean, the Southern Conference built in during the tournament an off day today, knowing that the weather was coming and it was going to hamper them trying to get games in. They just took the whole day off, hoping to pick it up. Of course, now the SEC's, they accommodated things by putting in 2 more games on Friday, so they'll play 4 games on Friday to catch everything up.
Yeah, and they usually do leave that one day for for a little bit of wiggle room, which they've had to use several times. And of course, in the ACC, as you know, they only play 3 games because they do pool play. And there's a lot to like about pool play. The problem with pool play is that on that final day, you've got games that mean virtually nothing, that the winner does not advance to anything because you've already determined who the top 2 teams are that are going to play in the championship game. So there's pluses and minuses with every format. I haven't seen the perfect formula yet. But when rain hits this time of year, you hate to see it. And we're going to have it in postseason play, too. I mean, we're going to have a regional that extends all the way to Monday or Tuesday. Mm-hmm. We're going to have a super regional that extends an extra day or 2. It happens every year due to the weather, the time of the year that we're playing it. And, again, nobody's playing indoors. So it just kind of comes with the territory this time of year.
So as far as the SEC is concerned, you had Texas A&M today hammer Florida 10-0. I mean, Florida threw their top guy at South Carolina the other night. But I mean, they don't have enough pitching to come back and be competitive with Texas A&M in Game 2.
Well, remember now they're one of those teams without their ace. They don't have Hunter Barco. Sproat has been their de facto ace. But they don't have a deep rotation like teams of the past. So, and my guess is, and I didn't watch the game, but my guess is that once they fell behind 6-7 runs, they did what all coaches do in that situation. They punt. And thank goodness. And this should be, if you want to do something positive for the sport, this should be universal. The 10-run rule. After 7 innings, if you're down 10 runs, don't make the coaches sit there and throw a bunch of freshman pitchers on the mound that they know are going to get rocked. Don't use it as a training camp. It's over. End the game and move on.
Thank you, Mike Morgan.
Is that a standing ovation you're giving,
It
Mike?
is. I've been standing on that soapbox for years. I agree with you, Mike, because no one has enough pitching. I don't know why the run rule is not something you could use during the regular season as well.
Yeah, it's long overdue. I don't know why we do this nonsense. And I think most coaches would tell you they think that's what you need. Look, we're in a day and age in baseball at every level, Major League Baseball leading the way, where we're changing things. We're making new rules and adaptations that were thought, just unimaginable, that you could never get away with doing something like that without hurting the prestige of the game. And that's been proven false. Like, baseball's going to be fine if we don't continue when it's 12-0 after 7 innings to play another 2 innings. So it's 24-3. We don't need that. That's not good for the game.
When an NBA team falls behind by 29 points, should they just go ahead and call it at that point and say,
there's
hey,
a difference, though.
not
There's a clock in basketball.
Not going to have a chance to come back. I mean, there's always a chance, to come back and round. We've seen baseball teams come from 10 runs down and win ball games.
It's extremely rare. And again, I'm not saying call it after the 3rd inning. I'm saying after 7 innings, it would be the equivalent of a quarterback in the NFL taking a knee when you're up a certain amount of points. You take a knee or you just run it straight into the line of scrimmage. But baseball is unique because there's no clock. So if a basketball team is trailing by 30 points in the 4th quarter, you can just play your scrubs and just finish it out, and the clock's going to run out. We don't have that luxury in baseball, and especially in college baseball, you don't have enough pitchers that are truly up to the challenge at hand to go in a game like that. So just don't do it. We have a bad enough problem with trying to keep people's attention for a 3.5-hour baseball game as it is.
Or a 2-hour talk show.
Yeah. If it's a 3.5-hour baseball game that's really, really bad, that's no bueno.
Well, yeah. South Carolina, Florida had a great game the other night. 10 innings in 2 hours and 28 minutes, and the 2 starting pitchers were just throwing BBs. And that was a really good ball game. Let me ask you about Clemson's fate. With that loss the other night, they were already bubblicious going into the tournament. They play a really good Virginia. I was looking at Virginia Tech's lineup, man. They got like 5 guys that have hit double-figure home runs. They don't have a guy with 26 like Wagner, but they got like 5 guys between 16 and 10 home runs up and through that lineup. So I don't know how much you know about Virginia Tech, but neither team is starting their top guy tonight. But what about Clemson in the NCAA? Are they in or out in your eyes?
I think they could do themselves a world of good by beating Virginia Tech, because what I know about Virginia Tech is they're one of the top 5 teams in the country. And they were picked, I think, 2nd or 3rd to last in the ACC. I mean, nobody saw this coming.
Yeah.
But they are clearly going to get a national seed. They are very good this year. And I don't know Clemson's RPI off the top of my head, but I guarantee it would get a boost if they won that game. Without it, I'm just going on what some of the folks at D1 Baseball have said, that they really thought Clemson needed to do something in Charlotte. So if they were bubblicious going in and they go 2 and out or 3 and out, I forget now, pool play, you
2 and out. They've gone to 2 games. Yeah.
That's right. If they go 2 and out in Charlotte, I don't know if that portends well for Clemson.
Yeah, their lineup, I mean, even their number 9 hitter, who's batting .333, has got 13 home runs. I don't know. Their park, I don't know. It must be, blowing out all the time or short fences. They got a guy with 12, one with 15, one with 16, and 2. They got 3 guys with 13. I mean, that's some power in that lineup and some offense up and down that lineup.
Well, they must have some pitching too, though, because you don't win the amount of games that they have and put together the season they have by just being a one-trick pony. So, I mean, you're right. Their ballpark might be small. I don't know. Never done a game in Blacksburg. But they're clearly, what they've been able to do this season, that's not just a product of a ballpark. That's a pretty good team.
That reminds me of Metro Conference days when Bob Fulton and Don Williams, they were doing Gamecock baseball before like anybody else was doing college baseball. And they were doing a game from Virginia Tech, and the whole game, Bob Fulton just complained about how cold it was. I mean, the whole game, it was about how cold it was. Must have been like in February, maybe March, and it's so cold in this press box. Brings back memories.
We've all been there. I'm telling you, there's no more miserable game to call in cold weather than baseball.
Yeah.
it's just you're sitting there, and I'm sure Bob was in an open air press box.
Yeah. Probably had no
you know,
top on it. Might have been out in the stands.
It might have been back in those days for sure. And yeah, I mean, you're just sitting there and your lips are chapped and you can barely spit out a sentence. I've done a few MAC football games in November, Maction on ESPN, and we're sitting, and because we have to have the camera, the 50-yard line camera, which is in our booth, we have to have that with a clear view. We keep the windows open. And I mean, I did a game a couple of years ago. I believe it was at Kent State, and there might have been 17 people in the stands because even for Kent State, it was freezing. I mean, just absolutely cold. And we're calling this game, and we're shivering. It doesn't matter how much hot chocolate you drink, and it's just like there's got to be a better way. There's got to be a better way to do this.
Tennessee has taken an early 1-0 lead on Vanderbilt, and I saw some odds earlier today from a bet online that made Tennessee the strong favorite to win the College World Series championship, heavy favorites. And you foresee a team that's capable of continuing what they did in the regular season through the 2 rounds of regionals and then in the World Series?
Well, look, I'll put it to you this way. Tennessee is 100% legit. There's nothing flukish about what they've done, and that roster is one of the best I've seen in quite a few years of covering the sport. However, it wouldn't be the craziest thing in the world if somebody trips them up. Mm-hmm. It happens. It absolutely happens. Just ask the 2000 Gamecock team. I mean, you can be coasting through a 56-game regular season schedule, and then all of a sudden something's a little bit different about that postseason. You'll see some new blood, and are they the betting favorite? Of course they are. They've been the best team all year long. They've got the best roster. You've got several players on that team that'll be drafted highly and several that'll be playing in the show. But there's a lot of other good teams that we're not even thinking about right now because they're not all in the Southeast that are certainly capable of knocking them off at some point in the postseason.
Mike, I hate to put you on the spot here, but obviously the big story that we've taken here on Sports Talk since Tuesday night was the fact that South Carolina's season ended with the first losing season since 1996. If you were Ray Tanner and in that situation to try and determine the fate of Mark Kingston, what are some of the pros you'd be looking at for keeping him, and then perhaps maybe some of the reasons you might ultimately have to let him go?
Well, I think what he is going to look at, it's not just this year. He's going to look at the body of work. He's going to look at, they've been to a super, and last year they were in a regional, and unfortunately lost to a team that eventually made it to Omaha in Virginia. The question is going to be, what's the trajectory of the program? Does he believe that, the roster next year is going to look better than this one? Because this one, you and I, or you guys and I, had this conversation in March and April and May, and I told you then this was not an NCAA roster, and that's what it turned out to be. They fought hard, they played hard, they pulled off some upsets, but that is, I've seen every team in the SEC at least once that is not nearly talented enough to compete at the level that you need to. And look, Mississippi State was a team that was in the top 10. They didn't even make it to Hoover. It can happen. I don't care how good a program you are. You can be humbled in this sport at some point. And this year's team, once they lost those pitchers, it was lights out. Now, if you keep everybody and you've got Bosnick back and you've got Sanders back and you've got Noah and you've got some quality arms, you get some bats either in the portal or in recruiting, then you can flip the script real quickly. So I'm sure Ray's looking at all of those things and is a lot more qualified to make that call than I am. But and the other thing is too, I guarantee you this, you're not going to just make that move and fire a coach that quickly unless you've got a home run hire waiting in the wings, and only he knows the answer to that.
Yeah. What do you have ahead for you on your regional, super regional schedule? Have they informed you?
Well, we don't know the brackets yet. So as soon as those come out, I'll find out on Monday where I'm find out on Monday what regional I'm doing. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty certain we're going to travel for super regionals. I don't believe we're going to travel for regionals. Is the reading the tea leaves is what impression I get. And I never know. I mean, last year I had maybe the best super regional in the country with Arkansas and NC State. It was fantastic. The regional I had was in South Bend of all places, and a kid named Nico Cavades hit like 6 home runs, 475 feet. It was just insane. I never saw a guy go off like that in a regional. Usually I'm sent to an SEC spot, but not always. So wherever it is, it's always fun. I love doing it. The college baseball postseason is terrific. And once we get the conference tournaments over with, the real fun begins.
Absolutely. Mike, we appreciate you. Have a great holiday weekend. We'll talk to you next week heading into the postseason. Have a great one.
You too, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
The postseason. I mean, I guess we're in the postseason now with conference tournament. But the postseason. Virginia Tech is taking a 1-0 lead on Clemson. We'll get details from Smitty coming up. Virginia Tech is the visiting team here. So
Explain that to me, please. Explain that to me.
Well, my only guess is because Clemson was the visiting team already once.
So?
Well, I mean, to be fair, we got to be fair. Everybody gets an award, and we got to be fair.
Virginia Tech earned the right to be the home team every game at the tournament.
Okay, take it up with the commish. Jim Phillips is his name. He's a doctor.
We're with Major Billy Downer of DNR. Of course, hunting is very popular across the state of South Carolina. Major Downer, what things should our hunters be thinking about before they get out in the fields?
It seems like every other show we're talking about hunting safety of some sort. Whether it's turkey season or deer season, hunters always need to be aware of their target. Make sure before you pull that trigger that you know what you're looking at. Whether it's a turkey during turkey season or a deer during deer season, you know your identifying features of your game. You know what's beyond that target in case you miss.
Learn more about the great outdoors in South Carolina with Major Billy Downer on SC Wild here on the Sports Talk Media Network.
Life, it has its ups and downs. Sometimes it's little things like hitting every red light or dropping your cell phone. Maybe it's the bills, rent, or pressure at work. But when it comes to the South Carolina Education Lottery, you should never feel like playing will solve everything. The lottery is a game. It's played for fun. So set a dollar amount. Expect not to win and make sure responsibilities, family, friends, and work come first. Visit playresponsiblysc.com.
All right, we're back, and Virginia Tech has scored on Clemson, and they're threatening top of the first. Let's go to Charlotte. Smitty is there, taking it all in. What's going on?
Yeah, well, Billy Barlow has just wiggled his way out of the first inning, but not before Virginia Tech, as you mentioned, got some damage done. By the way, I agree with Chris. I don't know why you can be the number 1 overall seed and then the visitor the first time you play. But there you go. We'll debate that
later.
It's
not fair to Clemson to make them bat first every time.
Well, we might have been robbed of seeing, Clemson wear those slick home white uniforms with the white cleats, which do look good. But let me tell you what, it didn't
those
look
are
good.
sharp.
Agreed. Those are sharp. But they didn't look good in the first inning. And I tell you what, this Hokies offense is as formidable as advertised. Biddison opened up the game, worked a 3-2 count. He walked. Then they got Gavin Cross. Barlow got Gavin Cross out swinging, but the ball got away. And at the same time, Biddison was stealing. So that's how he ended up on third with less than 2 outs. Then Tanner Schobel came up, who's that player you were talking about, Corn, that had 16 homers. And I'll tell you something. He's listed at 5'10", 175. I walked by him. I weigh 155. I'm not sure he weighs any more than I do. And he went for 16 home runs, and he looks like Mark Belanger out there at shortstop. So he's an all-ACC first-team performer. He walked. Then Jack Hurley, one of those players you mentioned with 13 home runs, spanked a single to right field. Schobel went to second. Biddison scored. Then Barlow was able to get Hunter out swinging, and Malinowski popped up to first base. But you add all that up, and Virginia Tech is on the board. And I'll tell you what, I would not want to face these guys as a pitcher. They are deep. They've got 4 first-team all-ACC performers. And as a matter of fact, they go right, left throughout the lineup. They look formidable at the plate.
Okay, we'll see what Clemson can do as the home team, wearing those spiffy white uniforms and white cleats, see if that makes a difference. How about Upstate? Upstate beat Gardner-Webb finishing them off just a little while ago, 4-2. Noah Sullivan, he's now 7-0 on the season. And Austin Morgan got the save. That's 6 saves for him. And so Upstate advances. Got Upstate and Charleston Southern getting it done in the Big South tournament, and they're going to meet each other tomorrow. Don't forget, North Greenville plays Columbus State starting tomorrow in the Super Regional, Southeast Regional Super Regional. That's D2. The winner of that Super Regional moves on to the D2 National Tournament College World Series. Back in a moment.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Could have some heavy showers overnight. That'll carry into tomorrow. The low will drop to only 71. Tomorrow, those heavy storms produce a lot of rain, some gusty winds, the high topping out at 82. Sun returns for Memorial Day weekend. Very nice weather. Sunshine all Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and warming temps from the mid-80s to about 90 for Monday. I'm Kevin Cohen with your On Point local weather.
Hi, I'm Kimberly Aiken-Cockrum. As Miss America, I know that taking care of yourself is important. Part of taking care of your health is knowing if you're at risk of type 2 diabetes. Prediabetes is serious and puts you at risk for developing type 2 diabetes. 90% of South Carolinians who have it don't know they have it. Visit inittogethersc.org. Take an online test to find out your risk and join a diabetes prevention program. Brought to you by the Diabetes Action Council of South Carolina.
Balance of nature, changing the world one life at a time.
I was feeling really tired, really slow, no energy, nothing. Started taking it, and it was like, wow, something happened. I've been telling everybody I know about it. We're happy with the product. Even my wife at first didn't say anything. Now she's saying, oh my gosh, I miss it. I go, how come? She goes, I'm tired. She goes, and plus my nails and hair were growing.
Well, I got more energy, I can tell you that, because I'm always active, whether I'm playing golf or working on the yard or pruning my palm trees. I still gap them at 84. So I've got a lot of energy. That's what I like about the product. And like I say, I have no complaints.
Start your journey to better health with Balance of Nature right now. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com to get free shipping. And don't forget to get 35% off your first order as a preferred customer by using discount code BALANCE.
When it comes to firearms, ammunition, and accessories, some things are changing. Well, fortunately, some things haven't changed a bit. I'm talking all about Shooter's Choice in West Columbia. What has never and will never change is the customer service. Top-notch with the staff that has decades of experience in the firearms industry. This staff actually hunts and shoots regularly. For over 30 years, Shooter's Choice has never lost that hometown feel and never felt like shopping at some big box store. What has changed? Well, technology. If you'd rather spend your money on firearms than gas, go online to shooterschoicesc.com and check out a great website that's easy to navigate 24/7. Be the first to get items as they are received at the store. Be the first to get that newest production model ordered before it even enters the retail store. Come pick it up at your convenience. Sign up for notifications of new products and special inventory. It's all at shooterschoicesc.com. So come on in and see the team at Shooter's Choice, 944 Sunset Boulevard, or visit online. Either way, you'll see what I'm talking about. Make your first choice, your best choice. Make it Shooter's Choice.
Hi, this is Marsha Klayman.
And I'm Karen Pickard. We're your hosts for the Positive Point on Aging.
We'll talk about aging gracefully and senior care every Tuesday morning from 8:30 to 9 o'clock a.m.
Join us right here on The Point for the Positive Point on Aging.
Brought to you by Oakley Village of Lexington.
Hi, honey. I am so excited about finally taking our vacation out of the country.
Me too. We've waited 2 years for this.
But we still have plenty to do before we leave for our trip.
You're right. The travel agent said we have to have negative COVID tests.
Lucky for us, we have True Pharmacy. They can take care of all of our COVID needs.
They do travel testing too?
Yes. Isn't it great to know we have such a great pharmacy to take care of us?
True Pharmacy, 2 locations, Charleston Highway in West Columbia and Divine Street in Columbia.
Every Friday morning at 9 a.m. on The Point, join me, Chad Jordan, and my co-host Larry Jordan for the Palmetto Real Estate Pros. We'll help you out whether you're looking to buy, sell, or just learn all things real estate every Friday right here at 100.7 The Point.
A well-regulated humidor being necessary to the preservation of a cigar
The right of the people to keep and enjoy cigars shall not be infringed. For those who love a great cigar and want to spend time with others who are like-minded, the Cigar Militia offers the experience you're looking for. We're located in the Colonial Village next to the Melting Pot. The Cigar Militia offers exceptional cigars from around the world, staff to assist you in your selections, private cigar lockers, and a lounge where members can relax and enjoy.
Attention pizza lovers. The Mellow Mushroom Pizza Bakers in Columbia and Lexington have officially been named
The best pizza places in the universe.
Maybe it's the out-of-this-world ambiance, or the universally appealing hand-tossed spring water dough pizza, fresh salads and hoagies, or maybe it's the cosmos of craft beer. Either way, Mellow Mushroom in the Vista and on Sunset in Lexington are officially
The best pizza places in the universe.
official best pizza in the universe designation from an official-looking guy who tried our pizza and said that.
We'll get back to everything sports-wise here on Sports Talk in just a couple of minutes. In fact, we're going to hear from Shane Beamer and Dabo Sweeney coming up in just a few minutes. You know, we like to always give back to you, and by giving back, that means letting you hear from folks who are partners with us here on Sports Talk, folks who have important things to say and important things to inform you about. That includes South Carolina Treasurer Curtis Loftus coming up on May 29th. That's 529 Day here in South Carolina. That's a big day. If you know the 529 savings plan that the treasurer talks about quite a bit with us and others, you know, May 29th is a very big day for that program. In fact, he and I talked earlier today about what that day means.
That's right. It's a sad state of affairs when 529 Day is the big day in my calendar, but as treasurer, it is. 529, May 29th. Is a big day because we celebrate that day by giving a $529 privately funded grant to every child that's born on that day. And we'll deposit that money into a 529 savings account. You know, if you've got one already, great. If you don't, we'll help you set one up. And that money, of course, is invested. It's tax-free. It goes into account. The contribution is tax-free. It grows in value tax-free, both state and federal. And then when you pull it out, for everything from K through 12 private school tuition to college, it's tax-free there as well. So it's a great program, and we appreciate you, Phil. Let me speak to your listeners about it.
What is the reaction that you get from the parents when, like, on May 30th, they check their account or they get some sort of notification? They go, whoa, we just got $529 in a grant for our newbie.
Well, they have to contact us. We work with the hospitals to find out who's actually born. You'd be surprised how hard it is to get that information. But I tell you, what's funny is we will go and see, we'll pick somebody out, maybe somebody who has the first baby that day, and we'll go see them. Now, we haven't been able to do it the last couple of years because of COVID, but you'd be surprised. I mean, when I was born in 1958, a woman didn't want to be seen for a week. Now, they look like they're ready to go to the beach 4 hours later. It's amazing. It's the husband who's crumpled up in the corner, and the wife is there. She's got her baby. She's talking to us. She's asking questions about the 529 plan. It's an incredible experience for me because I don't get to be around any babies anymore. So it's a lot of fun, and they're excited. I had one father say to me, hey, this kid's got a bigger net worth than I do now.
That's great. So in general, remind everybody what the Future Scholar program is all about.
The South Carolina's Future Scholar College Savings Program is an award-winning, it's nationally known plan. We have $6 billion in funds, over 200,000 people participating in it. The General Assembly says to the state treasurer, hey, fella, you go out and run this thing. Make people happy. All the members of the General Assembly have kids and grandkids too. So they're very interested in this program. And so you beat the tax man 3 different times. When you put that money in, it's a tax deduction, and then it grows and you take it out tax-free. You can use it, as I said, at any 2-year or 4-year accredited school, graduate school, tech school, trade schools, not just in South Carolina, but around the country, and about 600 around the world. And lastly, there's a really important change made just a few years ago. That's the thing about the K through 12 private school tuition. If you think your kid would like to go to private school, or if you'd like to have them there, that's included as well. You can use the money for that.
So if you kickstart somebody with the $529 on May 29th, and they jump into the program and they start to contribute on a regular basis, how do you foresee the account growing? Any examples of how an account can grow, say, over 15 to 20 years?
Oh, it's amazing. Now, the law prohibits me from talking about that because that means I would be, in effect, guaranteeing a rate. But you can do it yourself. If you average 6 or 7% in a good conservative investments like we have over 15 or 18 years, it makes a big difference. We made it easy. You go to futurescholar.com, futurescholar.com. You set up your account. You don't have to put any money in the first day. There's no monthly fee, nothing like that. We've got it set up so people like you and me and working people can start this program. And once you get it, then you get your mom and your dad, your grandma, your grandpa, your friends. And we find a lot of times people say, little Johnny didn't get a blue sweater every year at Christmas now. He gets a check to his Future Scholar plan, and that's what's important. We see kids constantly graduating from college with $50 or $75 or $100,000 in debt, and that's what motivates us. We want kids to go to school and get out of college and be able to take the job of their dreams, not just a job that's going to pay their bill.
All right, last thing. For those who are expecting and are going to have a kid on May 29th, be on the lookout for all of this. And what should they do once they've got baby home and everybody is tucked away and ready to start moving forward? What should be their first step?
First thing, if they just contact the state treasurer's office, or we would be contacting them, it depends, but both is great. But open that Future Scholar account, and we make it all work for you. We've got people on staff. We got a great staff. They're just motivated. They want people to open the account. You go to futurescholar.com, get it started, and we'll make our contributions, and we'll be so happy to have had the chance to do so.
All right, there you go. Curtis Loftus, the state treasurer. Thank you, Curtis, for being with us for that piece here on Sports Talk. Remember, folks, if you're having a baby in 3 days, you're a winner twice. You're a winner with the kid, and you're a winner with the 529 plan. So be sure to take the state treasurer up on the offer to get $529 deposited into your 529 plan for having a kid on May 29th. Smitty wasn't born on May 29th, nor did he have a kid on May 29th. But here on May 26th, he's watching Virginia Tech take it to Clemson right now, correct?
Yep, sure are. It's now 2-0 Hokies, and we talked about in the last update how formidable this lineup looks. Well, Billy Barlow has been through it once, and he's gotten stung twice. In the top of the second here, Virginia Tech got a walk early on and then advanced that runner Jones to second on a fielder's choice, and then the lineup turned back to the top of the lineup again. Nick Biddison comes up. He's a third-team All-ACC performer. He doubled right down the left field line, right on the chalk. That drove home Jones, and now the problem is you swing it back to the Thunder in that lineup. Now you're going to have Gavin Cross, who's an All-ACC first-team outfielder, big left-hander, big strong left-hander, and then you've got Tanner Schobel coming up after that, All-ACC first-team shortstop, 16 homers on the season. So there is no relief here, and Virginia Tech's already up 2-0.
All right, get back to you in just a little bit, Smitty. Now, we had Dabo Sweeney and Shane Beamer yesterday visiting with respective Tiger and Gamecock clubs in the state. We've got some audio for you from that as they spoke with the media, general media, prior to their speaking engagement. So here's Shane Beamer, and he was down in Charleston, I believe it was. And I think this was last night, might have been the day before, within the last day or so, as the new players have arrived on campus. The transfers are all here, and some of the freshman signees who were able to enroll now, they've all moved in. And he was asked to talk about the competition that these new folks will bring to the program, and, of course, their hopes of being instant contributors now that they're on campus.
You know, I mean, everybody, they all want to come in. They all want to play early, you know, so we're going to give them every opportunity to. You know, the biggest thing for them, one, it's getting acclimated to everything academically. Things move at a faster pace. You know, some of these guys are going to get here and they're going to find out that their lifting group is at 7:30 a.m. the next morning. And we don't ease them into anything, but it's great from that transition though to be able to, or great for the transition that they're able to have a whole summer to get acclimated. And the way the NCAA has structured things, we're able to do a little bit more with them now. So if you're an incoming freshman that wasn't here for spring practice, it's so beneficial for you because we'll be able to do more football activities with them, meetings, on the field work than we've ever been able to. So you really got the whole month of June, the whole month of July. If you utilize it the right way, it's really trying to learn the offense, learn the defense, learn special teams. It's really like 2 spring practices or 2 rounds of installation because you'll do it the whole month of March. You'll do it the whole month of June, the whole month of July, and then you get it again in the month of August. So it's great for those guys. But, early on, I'm very cognizant of most of them may have been in school like literally yesterday, and they're going to be on a college campus here tomorrow. So being very cognizant of that there's, I don't know what you guys did, but when I graduated high school, I went to the beach with the buddies for a week, and you had a little bit of time before you started school. These guys, because of when we start summer school here at Carolina, there's no rest for them. So being very cognizant of that. There'll be some sad moms tomorrow that I feel for them, but it's an exciting time as well, and I'm excited. It's a really good group of young men that we recruited and signed, and really eager to get them on campus here this week and get going with them.
So, do you remember getting dropped off by your parents? I guess not really dropped off at Virginia Tech, but down the road kind of deal?
I do. I lived in a dorm literally like 4 miles from the house I grew up in. So I remember moving into the dorm, but I moved across town, and it was still sad for me and still sad for my mom. And all I did was just move from my house to campus, which was 4 miles away. So now I remember that, and I'm well aware of what these families are going through tomorrow.
Obviously, coming up in June, you'll have a bunch of guys on campus again. The 10 camp days, official visits. How important is that month always for you guys?
Yeah, no, we were just talking about it as a staff yesterday in our staff meeting. Obviously. Last June was crazy because it was the first time that recruits had been on campus in over a year. First time they had met us face to face. Now probably won't be as crazy, but I still told our staff, I wanted to have the same excitement, the same energy, the same newness, the busyness then as what we had last year. We needed to have it this year as well. So it'll be really big for us. Tony and I were talking about it coming over here, that recruiting-wise, it should be a great month for us, and hopefully there'll be some great things happening this month. June was really good to us last year in recruiting. By the end of the month, we went on a hot streak where it seemed like somebody was calling to commit every day, and hopefully had the same success this year. I think we're in great positions with some people that'll be here on unofficial visits. I know we're in some great positions with some guys that'll be here on official visits, and it'll be a really, really critical month from a recruiting standpoint and football standpoint.
I don't know if that new rule is official yet, but the 25 cap may go away for a couple of years. What have you thought about that and the effect that may have?
I wish we had it last year, for sure. It certainly would have helped our roster last year if I could have easily gotten to 85 scholarships before the season, which I was not able to do. We weren't able to do last year because of the 25 cap on the initials. So I think it's fantastic. Especially in situations like a new coach that I got into last year where you didn't have any initial scholarships left, but you still weren't at the maximum 85 scholarships. And that gets to be a competitive issue. That gets to be a safety issue. And so I love it and glad they did it. And thankful that we have that ability now.
Some Shane Beamer from the other night. Good to hear from a football coach. In fact, we'll hear from Dabo Swinney doing the same thing with the Clemson media guys who followed him to Greenwood last night as he was speaking there, the prowl and growl. And you said they were in Florence tonight, Chris?
They're over here, and Shane Beamer and his crew were here Tuesday. So the PD getting a little love from both schools this week.
Sounds good. Hit the break. Clemson down 3-0 now as they go to the bottom of the second. Back in a moment.
I'm attorney Jim Corbett. I love sports, and I've helped people for over 30 years.
Contact me at jim@jimcorbettattorney.com when the insurance company won't pay your claim or you have complicated issues. Some other business causes your business to lose money. jim@jimcorbettattorney.com. When you lose a relative and find out you got cut out of a will or don't get what was promised. When you have serious injury, like from a wreck or mishap or on the job. jim@jimcorbettattorney.com.
Parents ask, what's the best way to save for college? I'm State Treasurer Curtis Loftus, and my answer is always open a Future Scholar 529 college savings account. It's easy. You can get started online with any amount. It's flexible to adapt to your child's college dreams. And you can deduct 100% of your contributions from the South Carolina state tax return. So what are you waiting for? Go to futurescholar.com and see why it's the smart, easy way to save for college. futurescholar.com.
No sooner than we talked about Clemson being down 3-0 than the Tigers got a 2-run homer from Wright, and they're down now 3-2. We'll get to Smitty in just a couple of minutes to get more on that. But following up on Shane Beamer, here is some Dabo Swinney, who spoke to the Clemson media last night in Greenwood, and he was asked about the academic and health situations for his team as they go into the summer months.
Academic standpoint, I'm really proud of our guys. It was an amazing semester. We set our record, our spring 3.0 record coming into this spring was 63 players with a 3.0 or better. We had 80 players make a 3.0 or better, which is an all-time record. So I expect us to shatter the GPA record when I get that final tabulation. And then, and that was 80 out of 109 that went through spring. So academically, I'm really, really proud of what the guys did. And then secondly, we had 109 players go through spring and 109 exit meetings and 109 guys still on the team. So I think out of the Power 65, there were only 4 teams that did not lose a player after February 1. And we were one of those. So, you know, which shows you where college football is. 61 schools lost players during spring and after spring. So I love our team. I think that shows the maturity, the commitment, the leadership, the chemistry, the psyche of our team as far as how they feel about their coaches and just Clemson in general. So it was a really good semester from that standpoint. We got a lot done in spring ball. We got a lot done, obviously, academically. And then a lot of guys just getting well. So we've only got, you know, a couple of guys that aren't really kind of back at it, almost full, you know. So, but we anticipate, you know, right now having everybody full go once we get to our scholarship players, once we get to camp. You know, Adam will probably, you know, he'll be in practice and rolling, but you know, he might when they fully let him go, whenever that day is, I don't know, but he'll be rolling in camp and you know, and participating probably in a limited, you know, probably a green jersey, but you know, we'll see after, you know, so he'll be there. It's not like he's a long-term guy that's not going to be in our 110. We got a couple of walk-on guys that might not be in the 110 because of the injuries that, you know, they might be later on when they get back. You know, all the scholarship guys are in a good spot. They're all, you know, really, really good. This is our mandatory training starts next week. This week is kind of, you know, voluntary, kind of on their own, but pretty much the whole team's there. And skills and drills this morning at 7. And, you know, the guys are excited to be back. I think they all enjoyed a break. We got a lot of guys go out on micro internships from London to California and in between, which is always great experience for our guys. So, you know, we're in a good spot, and I really like the report I got this morning from the medical staff as far as where everyone is. And, you know, hopefully we can, you know, have the type of summer we need to have. It's going to be a big summer for strength and conditioning wise, nutrition, you know, recovery, you name it.
You guys are going to get a good chunk of your signings coming in within the next couple of weeks. And so, what's some reasonable expectations for those guys just coming along? And is there anybody that you're looking forward to just getting your chance to work with and maybe some?
Yeah, all those guys. I mean, most of our guys, you know, were in. We had a pretty good group come in for mid-year, but the rest of them will show up. It's fun. The one change that they made compliance-wise is we can actually get on the field with those guys for like an hour, at a time. Now, only a ball, no good on good or anything, nobody going against each other, all individual technique, fundamental stuff. But that's really pretty cool because we've never had the opportunity to do that. So to be able to go out and have a little time with some freshmen, especially, and kind of get them acclimated and coach them at a slower pace, prior to camp is something that we will definitely take advantage of. Now you got to take that time out of your 8 hours of training, so there's a balance there on when you do that and being strategic in that. But all those guys. I mean, we've got some excellent linebackers coming. We're excited to get another running back in here. We've got a good group of a couple of DBs rolling in here. We got another couple of wideouts. We got Sapp at tight end coming in. So we got a good group of guys. Cade Story, Hunter Johnson's already here. He got here summer one, so he's here and rolling. Get Jaheim in here. So you want to get them all here, get your team complete, and unfortunately we didn't get the rule pass where we could bring the whole roster in for camp, which is that's just makes no sense to me. But because they're here all summer, they train all summer, so we can only bring 110, and then the rest will have to kind of wait for a couple of weeks so we can get the school started. But that is what it is from that standpoint.
Still just looking for one offensive lineman in the portal?
We at this point, there's really nobody, that really fits what we need. I mean, there were really, there's a lot of guys, a lot of names, but we're not just looking for a name. We had two guys that we felt like fit everything we were looking for, and offered two guys and didn't get them. But yeah, there's really not anybody out there that's really would help us at this point.
All right, Dabo Sweeney, telling you there, taking the Tigers out of the transfer portal. John looking for an offensive lineman. Had a couple of guys they liked, didn't get them. No longer going to pursue anybody in the transfer portal, John, for that offensive line position they were looking to fill, I guess, as things stand now. So, well, it's too late anyway. You can't take anybody now, I don't think, and have them eligible to play this season. Or maybe you can't enter the portal, John, at this point and be eligible for this coming season. That's what it is. So interesting stuff there from Dabo Sweeney at the end. Meantime, let's go back to Charlotte. A little life in the Tigers there, Smitty, as they've cut the lead to 3-2.
That sure is, as is often the case for the Tigers. The lineup has to carry them against quality opponents. I was looking back at some of my notes before all of this began, before the tournament began, and I had written that note out, that if Clemson's going to get to the semifinal, the lineup has to show up and carry them because they're just going to be overmatched on the hill, and so far that's been the case. But Blake Wright is doing his part, hitting a 2-run homer, an opposite field job into the right field stands. A guy spilled his beer, one of the 8 people here in attendance, so that cuts the Hokies' lead to a single run. But as you mentioned, Clemson's still trailing top-seeded Virginia Tech 3-2, and the skies are starting to darken, so that's a little concerning too.
All right, Smitty, hang in there, stay undercover. We remind everybody that you can catch Smitty's post-game coverage with post-game comments from Clemson coach Monty Lee and players on our website, SportsTalkSC.com, coming right after the ball game tonight. Tennessee's taking a 3-0 lead on Vanderbilt in the bottom of the third inning. Let me pass on a couple of other quick items here before we sign off. So USC in tennis, their doubles team, men's double team, Connor Thompson and Daniel Rodriguez, number 1 player in the country, they upset the number 3 seed in the NCAA championships, taking down a duo from Baylor in straight sets. So they've advanced to the semifinals. So that's very big for them. Clemson softball taking on Oklahoma State in the Super Regional beginning tonight. What time's that first pitch, Bergie? Because I know you'll be all over it.
9:30.
Yeah, you gonna stay up and watch it?
Probably will.
Yeah.
Probably will.
The golf this week is up in or out in Fort Worth, Texas. Charles Schwab Challenge. How about this? After the first round, you've got 8 golfers tied for the lead at 4 under 66. Reed, Simpson, Scheffler, Varner, Chris Kirk, Nick Taylor, Cam Davis, Bo Hostler. They are all at 6 under. Tied for the lead. It's 4 under par. Locals, Bill Haas is a 68, 2 under. Matthew Neesmith, 1 under 69. And Doc Redmond, even par 70. Lucas Glover, even par 70. Kevin
That'd probably
Kisner,
be the
plus
cut
3.
line. That may be the cut line with as many players as tied for the lead. If they do your typical, low 70s and ties.
Yeah.
That may be the cut line at even par.
Kevin Kisner, 73. PGA champ Justin Thomas, plus 1, 71. Zalatoris, a plus 2, 72. Ricky Fowler, 1 under 69. Jordan Spieth, 1 under 69 for him. And also want to tell you that, what else do we have here? The Myrtle Beach Bowl is coming back. Announced today. They'll be played on December 19th, a Monday, Brooks Stadium in Conway. And Conference USA, the MAC, Sunbelt, all involved there. 2 teams from those 3 leagues will participate. Okay, Bergie, we'll see you tomorrow, man. Enjoy the softball tonight.
Thank you, sir. You do the same.
Yeah, right. I'll be watching the NBA. Celtics looked great last night. Remember to catch Smitty's postgame on the website. See you tomorrow.
Local in the morning, afternoon, and evening. Columbia's local talk radio experience. 107 The